This clip is from my conversation with Gelder Lewis, CEO of Gelder Generational Wealth. After starting with an internship in 1997, Gelder built a 30-year career shifting from insurance sales into fiduciary wealth management, where accountability, as he says, is the only word that actually matters.
You could, if you had skins, like you could hike it. Yeah. Split board. Yep.
That'd be cool.
That's what I did in Japan. I split boarded.
Was it great?
Yeah. It's awesome.
Oh man. Yeah. So the video that you showed me, you guys skinned up there? That wasn't at a resort?
Yeah.
Oh, nice. Did you have a guide?
Yeah. Great guides. It was awesome.
What a blast.
So good.
And I like that. There's something to earning your turns a little bit, right? I mean,
there is something to that for sure.
Do you stay, you take are you like trained up like avalanche safety and stuff? Or beacons and all that stuff?
Yep.
I like that too. Yeah, that's cool. I like that. Okay. So back to your work right now, kind of the 30-year span. Something I was thinking about too is like, do you find that financial like principles and things that are kind of taught along the line over your 30 years, do you find them to be, stay fairly consistent? Or has there been something that let's just say, I don't know, I'm just thinking this through. Like, has there been something that you used to advise or recommendations or products that you used to believe in strongly that now the guidance is like, oh, that's changed a little bit? Or do you find it's pretty consistent guidance over the past 30 years?
I feel like it's pretty consistent in terms of just philosophy, fundamental portfolio theory, just good diversification. There's a lot of things that are still the same.
Okay.
Now with technology and the things that we can do now, many times people think there's a quicker way to get to the finish line or to get to the end goal. But I think it still comes back to the basics of protecting what you can least afford to lose, accumulating and planning to accumulate in a tax efficient way, and then planning for your distribution effectively. And those three things, we could go really deep on all three of those, but there's fundamental principles that don't change. As much as things change, they stay the same.
Yeah.
And really just making solid financial decisions and being really careful with what risks we take and making sure that we can quantify those risks and not be speculative, especially when we're talking about certain things like our families, our homes, our livelihoods.
How do you go about identifying those risks?
Yeah, we have a process that we love to get really well acquainted with people that want to engage in planning with us. We ask a lot of questions, and we're asking them a lot about what they want to accomplish, what their goals are, what their hopes, their dreams are, what their priorities are, what things are on the horizon, what things, are they looking forward to in the next 3, 5, 10 years? And then how do we develop a plan around those things to make those outcomes a reality and make those dreams and goals come to fruition, and develop a plan to do it, and do it in such a way that we don't take on too much risk, and we take on the risk that they want to take on. Because everybody has a different risk tolerance, right?
Sure.
And we have to identify that, see where they're at, and really embed that into the plan so that they feel comfortable about where it's taking them.
Have you ever had someone show up that like, you're getting to know them, and I say someone, it could be, a family or a couple or whatever else, but you get to know them and, you're getting to understand what their goals and dreams are. And they're just like, look, you're like, in your mind, you're like, look, there's no way that your dreams are bigger than you're shooting a little too far here. Have you ever had any of those situations? Or are people usually pretty aware of what they think they can accomplish?
I think that's one of the things I love the most about what we do is if somebody really is willing. I think there's some people that don't just need they need a little education, especially if their goals are maybe too lofty. And I hate to take the, I don't want to be the buzzkill. If somebody's really excited about something like, oh, I'm going to make all this money. And we're like, yeah, you're going to do great. But really educating people about the effect that taxes has on the financial plan, retirement, what you're going to be getting, what you're going to get from Social Security, things like that, really digging deep on all the variables and then being like, here's what this looks at like. And so for a lot of these meetings that we have, when we're getting into this, we're doing a lot of mirroring where we say, hey, this is what you told us is important to you. What do you think about this? And I think more so now, especially for those people that are a little more humble in their planning and a little more humble in how they come to us for advice, they really are in a position now that they do have what they hoped and wanted. And what I love is hearing like these clients say, wow, we never thought we'd have this much. And that's the fun part is to really them to say, look how much we've grown and look how much, and it's fun to reflect. I have conversations all the time with people that it's like, remember what we started with 20 years ago? That's fun. That's because those are those celebrations. And, like talking to a really good client the other day and being like, yeah, my kids are going to college now. And I'm like, yeah, like these are all really amazing things that you've been able to plan for.
That's really cool, man. I bet that's got to be neat. And that only comes through building those lifetimes of relationships. I mean, that's neat. When you started as an intern in 97 and then you moved into, was it called a practice, or was it the group that you started into a few years later?
Yeah.
Was it
yeah. So my road's been, varied. So I started as an intern, 1997.
Yeah.
And then went full-time in 1998.
98.
At that point, we were called special agents.
Okay. Special agent.
And then in 2000, we were called financial representatives.
Okay.
And so I had just insurance licensing in 97 and 98. I quickly in 98 got investment license.
Okay.
And then I got a license to manage a registered branch office, so an RBO. And that was when you met me.
Yes.
In South Jordan, where we had the internship and where I was speaking a lot at Salt Lake Community College and the University of Utah. And we were recruiting interns.
Yeah.
We wanted to really give people, because of course I was like, this intern's the best. I just did it, And so I still tell people all the time, it's a fantastic internship program. But what happened then, I was managing that office. That office rolled out, and I actually moved to Davis County in 2006. So I went to another branch office, stepped away from managing other people, and that was a good decision. And then just kept building my own practice.
It feels like there might be a story there. Do you want to talk about it? About stepping away from managing other people?
Yeah, we had I had a lease that I was responsible for. Mm-hmm. And we had some people that were helping me with, we were all kind of pooling for the rent on that. And then we had three major payers of that rent kind of go, hey, we can't do this anymore. And I was like, oops. And so that kind of soured me a little bit on that.
Yeah.
But that was, I think it was a great learning experience for me, because I call it my $1 million lesson that only costs $300,000.
Which is a bargain looking back, but in the moment, that's still a lot of money to come up with.
It was. But, so grateful that I was able to go through that, learn the lessons I needed to, because there were things I think I wanted for myself. I think there was a bigger plan out there that I just wasn't aware of.
What's your relationship like with learning from those hard things in the moment? Like, are you able to so you talked about learning this lesson, and that obviously wasn't the thing that you probably would have sketched out for yourself on your plan when you're planning it out, but it turns out to be really, really valuable now. What's your relationship with when you're going through those types of things now in your life?
Yeah. It really, I have some core values, growth, gratitude, generosity, guidance, grit, and grace.
I like the G's.
Gelder.
It goes, I like it.
And really, for me, that kind of sums up going through the hard stuff.
Mm-hmm.
You have to balance those values, and you can't just go through it and focus on the bad, but you can't just focus on the good too, because sometimes it's really hard to find the good when you're in that place. But it also, as I've gone through, some of those really hard things, I look back at that and I realize, and reflecting, that there were certain lessons I needed to learn. And so now I think in hindsight, what hindsight makes me do now is I request more feedback. I want people to give me feedback. And I want that constructive feedback from people that truly care, that don't have ulterior motives, that really want to give me something that like they're invested in me. And that really is awesome. Like my wife is my everything on that. She's amazing and really can help me to sort through those types of things and kind of see the lessons that come from that. But it's hard when you're right in the middle of that. I don't want to gloss over that. It is so hard when you're going through the middle of something where it's a part of your identity, or it's a part of who you thought you were becoming. And then all of a sudden it's a reset button. And I think that's really hard. And I know a lot of people have to go through that. And I'm grateful that I had the opportunity to go through it and then be able to see, wow, there was something way better on the other end for me. So
I that's a beautiful thing to be able to look back and acknowledge that and see it there. How do you go about finding people or identifying people that you can trust and who are looking out for your best interest? You talked about seeking feedback and finding that with the right people. How do you go about? Yeah.
So a really great friend of mine, he talked about mentoring up. And I think you get to a point, like I'm 53 years old, where people are like, oh, I don't need any mentors. It's like, no, I still have mentors. And I have mentors that are a little younger than me. I have mentors that are a lot older than me. I like to hear from people all the time, even younger people. We try to glean feedback from our clients. It's hard to get it. It's like, and because we don't want to send a survey.
Sure.
We want to get that thoughtful kind of more of a hey, this feels right. This is concerning. We want that kind of more of a story feedback. We don't want we do want the data, but we want more of the really customized feedback. And I think when I was younger, I turned to people that were leaders to me and mentors, but I wish I would have spent more time really thinking about the feedback they were giving me. I think because now I value feedback, and it feels like it's a little harder to get now, if that makes sense.
Well, I could see that, because I mean, it's easy to look for and get advice when everyone's more experienced than you, right? And you're just in a pool, like just the pool of people you're surrounded with. When you're 21, by nature, more people have more experience than you. But when you've been in the business for 30 years almost, then it's hard to find and people also want to share that with you more. They, coach you along. There's a lot to learn, but I get that. That's tricky. So do you when you're seeking it out now, do you seek out like feedback formally and informally? Like, you talked about it with your wife, obviously, but like with other people, do you seek it out? Formal mentoring relationships that you seek out and informal mentoring relationships?
For sure. My coach, I've been working with for 9 years. He's amazing and super helpful. I get to go skiing with him occasionally. Nice. So that's good.
This was a short clip from the 4Fs podcast, where I sit down with founders, veterans, and executives, world-class experts that you won't hear on every other show, to talk about leadership, entrepreneurship, and personal reinvention. For the full conversation and more context, tap the link in the description or search 4Fs podcast on YouTube or your favorite podcast app. And if you're enjoying these shorter episodes, make sure to follow along so you don't miss tomorrow's clip.
Welcome to the 4Fs with Jeff.